What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Biggie290 Day coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And the gaming space is about to get a little bit more crowded because the folks over at Google have finally decided to join us. Now, these rumors about the Google box or the Google console has been going on around for a while. We actually have talked about it on the channel, but today these rumors became a reality as they announced the Google console known as Stadia, and it's not exactly a console either. Stadia is basically a streaming service. So if you've got a device that can be streamed to via the internet, they will then cloud compute these games for you somewhere else on the internet and then just send you the streaming image. And we've seen stuff like this before. This exact service has been tried before with PlayStation Now, and some people do still take advantage of this. It allows you to emulate PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 games, I think even in some cases PlayStation 4 games. Not emulated, but cloud computed and streamed directly to your device. It's just not a service with very high demand right now. People would rather own their physical media and have their own consoles and compute it at home. But it looks like this is the same concept for Stadia. Basically, they will cloud compute what you want, send it via streaming in 4K, it looks like, with HDR. I mean, everything that you would want it to look like. It's all going to depend on how good your home Wi-Fi is. It's all going to depend on how good your internet connection is. But if you live in New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, you have that gigabit fiber, there's a real chance this is going to be a service you'd like to use. Now, I do think this can be more successful than PlayStation Now, mostly because of, look at this integration that they showed in the announcement today. They showed how if you were watching a YouTube video about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you have this little Play Now button, and by clicking that Play Now button, you can load the game directly into, I don't know, Chrome? Directly onto your Chromebook, directly onto your phone. I mean, that would be really incredible. And if they're going to integrate this with YouTube, the number one website of the internet, then there's a real chance this could be way more successful than PlayStation's version. And here's another really interesting feature. Obviously, they have it here playing on a Pixelbook. Then they pause the game on the Pixelbook and then immediately pick it up at exactly that same spot on their Pixel phone. So that's really fascinating. This is some really cool integration. And this is a feature that people have been banking on for quite a while. If you guys remember, there was going to be diskless versions of the Xbox this generation. And the original vision of the Xbox is that the disc wouldn't actually be a disc. It would be basically an installation program. But they wanted to do cloud computing for quite some time. PlayStation gave it a shot, realized that the internet just wasn't ready for it. And so at the beginning of this console generation, I don't think this stuff would have worked. I think we're finally now at a point where it will work for a lot of people, enough to have a nice big market. And if you're going to be able to play mainline Ubisoft, EA, those types of games, then this is going to be a real competition for the actual boxes, the actual consoles. And to try to really drive this home, they went on to explain that it works with all of the hardware you already own. It works with your peripherals, your mouse, your keyboard, your controllers. It works with your laptop, your iPad, your device. You can basically just download this and play it anywhere. And you're not really downloading much. I guess you're downloading a Chrome extension. I'm not really sure, but you're going to be able to play this on any device that you already own. So that's why it's already got a huge install base. My biggest issue is the fact that, a lot of people still can't afford high-end internet. I do have gigabit fiber here being piped into my house. I have the best router that money can buy. I have the best Wi-Fi that money can buy. So I have a really nice setup for something like this, and I would definitely be able to do this. But a lot of people are going to have a lot of trouble streaming in 4K. They're going to be dealing with data caps. They're going to be dealing with a lot of huge issues that a lot of cable providers are still doing to them. I don't know if the internet mainframe in the United States is ready for this. It's going to be a lot easier to just install your games for a lot of people. But hey, look, if you have good internet, if you have good home Wi-Fi, if you've got a good setup and you've got the money, then this might very well be something that's good for you if you have a good ISP that's willing to let you do this kind of thing. So fingers crossed. I think there's finally a market for this. The problem is that doesn't always work for Google. I mean, obviously there was a market for social media. We know how Google Plus turned out. So fingers crossed for Google here. They also showed off that they will be making some peripherals. I don't know if they'll ever make a browser box or something like that that connects to your TV that will allow you to, do Stadia and do YouTube and do something along that lines. I currently use my Xbox to do all of that in the living room, but I guess there's always like the little Chrome Fire devices, the things that plug into the back of your television. They also showed off this really cool controller, and it looks pretty standard. It looks pretty decent. Somebody did point out they actually put the Konami code on the back of the prototype. I think that's really cool. So it looks like it's being designed by gamers for gamers. Hopefully they'll get it right. But if you really think about this, this is actually really smart because there's a lot of people out there who don't want to buy a console, but they already have a phone, and that's where they're playing Fortnite. That's where they're going to play the new Call of Duty that's coming to their phone. So this would allow them to play even high-end, mainstream 4K video games on their tiny little phone, but some people are going to want to do that. And there's going to be people who want to stream it to their televisions without investing in a console. There's going to be people who want to play PC games that they cannot normally play because they don't want to buy a high-end PC. This will give them a chance to do it on something as cheap and as simple as their phone, their Chromebook, their Chrome stick. It seems really smart. I think this might work out. I think getting people to develop exclusives for this service will be a really important thing as well. And apparently Google understands that. So they have actually created its own studio for Stadia exclusive games. Hopefully they'll get some good games and some good licenses. But they're going to have to be able to convince the big people who own the big licenses to create exclusives for them. And I'm curious to see how that's actually going to work out. Because if there's not an exclusive reason to try the service, then people may not try it altogether. They at least have some third-party developers working with them because the folks over at Bethesda and id Software have said that Doom Eternal will launch on this service as well as Nintendo Switch and PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but you'll be able to play that there. Now, we don't have a release date yet for Doom Eternal, but it might give you an idea of how soon we'll be getting our hands on Stadia. What I'm really interested in when it comes to this is the way that this can vary up pricing. You could do like a PlayStation Now subscription service that gave you access to a large library of games and then have you buy individual games, maybe even download to own, rent to own demo modes of games since you can hop right into them without having to download the entire 40, 50 gig install file. I'm really curious to see how they're going to monetize this and how they're going to price it because there's so many different ways to do it that you could create something that would appeal to any consumer. Now, I do think it's probably going to be, $60 to buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey and then play it through the streaming services with no refunds or anything like that. But wouldn't it be interesting if they allow you to rent to own or allow you to just rent it for a little while? You have 48-hour access to be able to play the game, just like we've seen with PlayStation Now. Because when it comes to computing power, obviously Google has access to this, and they said that Google will support 4K and 60 frames per second at launch, and it's planning to support up to 8K resolution with 120 frames per second in the future. If anybody has the computing power to do that, it's definitely these folks. And when it comes to the individual servers that are going to be doing this computing, Google partnered with AMD to have these GPUs, which will deliver 10.7 teraflops of power. And for reference, the PS4 puts out 4.2 teraflops, where the Xbox One X puts out 6 teraflops. But that is, once again, last generation, so who knows what next generation for those consoles are going to do at home. But we do have a relatively firm release date of 2019, so it shouldn't be too long until we get our hands on this and actually get a chance to review it. And like I said, I have good internet, so I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be great for streamers in general. If you want to be able to stream a game, you don't want to have to buy a high-end PC that can also stream as well as compute the game. Then you have to deal with capture cards and all of that miserable business. This is going to be a great way to be able to stream your games and be able to play them. And I think for content creators like me, it's going to be great. Now, I'm curious as to whether or not it's going to be good for you. Will you forego a usual console to be able to get something like this? Are you going to try Stadia when it comes out sometime later this year? Are you excited about me talking about it? Let me know in the comments section below, and we'll bring you more news and updates about it as it develops. If Google does own it, there's a real chance I might get to partner with them and help sell it to you at some point. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased here. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. While you're down there, drop a like on this video, hit subscribe to this channel for more news videos like this, and if you've already subscribed, hit that notification bell, because if you are one of the first people to watch a video in the first hour it goes live, you can almost guarantee the success of that video for the YouTuber, and it really makes a big difference when you do. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. We love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. I said we because I've got Sam right here. He loves you too. Or were you asleep? I'm sorry.